Hello, my fellow educators, and welcome to another episode of Empowering Teachers. So, the beginning of the school year is about to begin. We are all anticipating meeting our students. We are all anticipating what the school year is going to be like. We are all afraid because we don't know what these wonderful lovelies are going to bring to us. So I thought that I would do a series of videos that could help you think about some things that you should do to help you create a classroom atmosphere where your students will feel loved and feel seen. So today we're going to talk about 8 proactive classroom management tips. Now, these tips have been proven to be very effective. So, as you know, over the summer, I read a lot so that I can prepare myself mentally and physically for what's coming during the year. And I read this fantastic research study. And I learned about this wonderful psychologist. And this psychologist in the 1950s, these two psychologists worked together. Their names were Jacob Coonan and Paul Gump. And what these gentlemen did is that they discovered a curious side effect of discipline. They discovered that if a student was being disruptive and the teacher responded with strict disciplinary measures, the student might stop. But one thing that they found out, which was interesting, the other students would start exhibiting the same misbehavior. And they called this the ripple effect. And it demonstrated that efforts to control a classroom can backfire on you as an educator. I love this quote. The teacher who is interested in controlling ripple effects can generally do so best by giving clear instructions to the child rather than by exerting pressure on him or her. That's what they wrote. So, decades later, classroom management is still a thorny issue for teachers. Nearly half of new teachers report that they feel not all at all prepared or only somewhat prepared to handle disruptive students, in part because the average teacher training program devotes just 8 hours to the topic, according to a report by the National Council on Teacher Quality. So, this lack of training comes with a cost, as teachers report losing 144 minutes of instructional time on average to behavioral disruptions every single week, which comes out to roughly 3 weeks over the course of a year. So, it is misbehavior is a cycle that impacts everyone. And today we're going to talk about 8 classroom management strategies that I learned from this article and I'd like to share with you. So instead of handling disruptions after they've happened, it can be more effective to set up conditions in which they are less likely to occur. And I've been talking about this, and researchers have proven that they're really effective. Number one, which is my favorite, and I talked about that a lot. Every morning, greet students at the door. And what you basically do is that when the students are coming in, you have them wait for you and you greet them. You give them a high five, a handshake, or a hug. And I know for me during that time, I am just trying to connect with them. It's kind of like a pulse check to see where they are. They can tell me if they had issues on the bus, and I can just tell from their body language what I have to face. And I can tackle some problems right away before they become a bigger problem during the year. In a study published last year, greeting students at the door helped teachers set a positive tone for the rest of the day, and they boost academic achievement by 20% points. while reducing behavior by 9 percentage points. And as a teacher who's been doing this for a while, it works. Number two, establish, maintain, and restore relationships. Building relationships with students through strategies like greeting them at the door is a good start. It's also necessary to maintain them over the course of the school year and to repair them when conflicts arise. The stronger the relationship and the better we understand our students, the more knowledge and goodwill we have to draw on when the going gets tough. We have to use what's called a restorative practice approach. Strategies for establishing, maintaining, and restoring relationships, such as regular check ins and focusing on solution instead of problems, can reduce disruptions by up to 75%. Number three, use reminders and clues. Use novelties such as the sound of a wind chime or rain sticks, which will capture young students' attention. For older students, maybe give them plenty of warning if you might need them to follow instructions. Reminders and cues are helpful ways to encourage students to follow instructions without being overtly controlling or forceful. For example, if you can anticipate a disruption such as students getting out of their seats if they finish an assignment early, give them a short reminder of what they can do instead. Reminders are commonly verbal, but they can also be visual. Flicking the lights to signal that it's time to be quiet, ringing a small bell to let students know that they should pay attention to the teacher, or physical or using chant is a great way to get them back. Number four, optimizing classroom seatings. When students choose their own seats, they're three times more likely to be disruptive than when seats are assigned because they're usually going to pick to sit next to their friends and spend more time chatting. But that doesn't mean that choice is always bad. Giving students a sense of ownership in the room paired with clear expectations for behavior can have surprisingly positive effects. What I usually do is that in the last week of school, I allow them to do that. But at the beginning of school, I tend to switch my seats every month so that students can learn how to work together. And I try to see who's working well together and who's not. And if the sitting arrangement is not working, I switch it right away so that more problems doesn't occur. I've found that discipline issues increasingly decrease. Students feel much more relaxed and motivated when they are in an environment where they're giving an opportunity to get to know other students and when they're and also they look forward to having this choice at the end of the year, which they have to earn. Number five, give behavior specific praise. It may seem counterintuitive, but acknowledging positive behavior and ignoring low level disruptions can be more effective than punishing or disciplining students. Instead of focusing on specific students, offer praise for the behavior you want to reinforce. For example, tell students, "Oh man, you did an excellent job getting to your seats quickly." It's also helpful to avoid using the word don't. Students are more likely to listen to instructions that include clear reasons. Number six, set clear expectations. Instead of just displaying rules for behavior, have a discussion with your students about why those rules matter. Okay? And also, to make the rules inclusive, focused, and considerate so that you can build a sense of community. Have the kids help you write the rules at the beginning of the year. Number seven, actively supervise. Presence is crucial to maintaining classroom management and to effective delivery of instruction, and it's a skill you can develop with effort. Be active. Don't sit behind your desk. Move around the classroom. Check on students' progress. Pull up a chair, sit next to them, ask questions. It's not about policing your students, but it's about interacting with them. Okay? Walk around. Study have found that when you smile and you make eye contact, it can reduce physical or psychological distance with your students. It also boosts students' positive feelings towards the teacher, and the course material will improve behavior. Number 8, this is the most important one. Be consistent in applying rules. I have seen teachers disciplining students who are of color differently than students who are who are not of color, students who are basically white. I noticed an instance in my classroom where a teacher was asked to discipline a black student, and I saw this with my own eyes for violating the school dress code by wearing sagging pants. And as they were walking down the hallway, that student pointed to other students. This was at a middle school, who were all wearing, who were white, and they were also wearing sagging pants. And the students looked at the teacher and said, "Are you gonna get him too, or is it just me?" And the teacher didn't have anything to say. So you do have to understand that you have to make your rules fair for everyone. School and classroom expectations, rules and routines should be followed and applied fairly to all students, both boys and girls. Don't single out certain students. It's the behavior you should be focused on, not the student. Correct the errors when you see them and provide them additional instruction or reteaching them when misbehavior occurs. And for the younger ones, establish a calming corner where you teach the students how to control their bodies. And once they see that their bodies are out of control, to go to a space where they can calm themselves down. Now, I've talked about a lot of things. But remember, as the teacher, you are the guide. Your students are looking for you to be the leader. Your students are looking for you to provide them with consistency. Your students are waiting for you to make their learning, to make not only learning fun, but to make sure that you see them in the classroom. You want to establish a place where they feel wonderful to be there. So, I hope that I've given you some strategies that you can use in the classroom. So remember, if you make a mistake, try again the next day. Start over because it's your classroom. You have the power. And remember also to keep taking care of yourself. Take deep breaths and remember to smile, even when the going gets tough. Thank you for joining me, and may you continue to be a leader that kids want to be with, a leader that treats everyone fairly, a leader who shows that learning is a wonderful journey that can be fun. Take good care of yourself, and thank you for joining me.